passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
Swing it line! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hello and welcome. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Well, happy Labor Day to everyone. Hope you had a great weekend as we get ready for the fall. And yes, that means we are finally in single digits when we're counting days down to the Browns kicking off the season, their 2020 season. The roster is set. Cuts have been made. Goodbye, Damian Ratley, Chad Thomas, and more. We'll talk about the roster moves and expectations for the Browns and the Tribe. Finish off another week, a winning week, going 4-2 with our man Bieber staying undefeated, going 7-0. And we're going to discuss Plesac's return, Naquin's hot bat. Good stuff there. Can the pitching carry this team to the playoffs? I mean, right now, when we find out if the Indians can score 3 or more, the answer might be yes. But first, your new uniform approved. Everybody loves the uniforms in 2020, man. Cleveland Browns.
I have never seen. Hello, everybody. Happy Labor Day. As people watch me live, I'm going to try to adjust my phone so I can watch the Indians game and be productive here in the podcast. Okay. The uniforms is the funniest thing in the world. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Yeah. We're going to play live here tonight as the Indians are up 3-1. I'm going to talk about Frankie Lindor and base running. But let's go to the Browns. I
missed the Frankie. I missed the Frankie thing because I was setting up for the show.
We're going to get into that. So the Browns, all the buzz, all the hype that was last year is the complete reverse this year. Everything last year was on your needles. We were reading things daily. OBJ catches was a occurrence every day on Twitter. To what did Baker say in the press? To this year, the buzz is all about the uniforms. If the uniforms created more buzz than anything else this year, and I don't mind. Don't be wrong. I like the uniforms, but I don't. They're uniforms we've had forever. I just don't like. We didn't have them last year and the last few years.
The uniforms were like. I think that the buzz that was created was, oh wow, they finally got it right by just doing something normal.
Yeah,
right. I mean, not overboard, but it was the carrying theme. You are correct.
I mean, I just have never laughed. I'm like, well, this is what we wore in the 80s for most of the 90s. And then for some reason we varied off at times. So yeah, I agree with Mr. Watson. I mean, look, we just went back to what we know best, brown, white, and it looks good. Again, I don't want to crap on it. I get it. I am not a uniform guy. So as you can already tell by these comments, this has been the weirdest preseason as this has been the weirdest open to the show. So all that to be said, I am excited. I will be honest, my enthusiasm, probably like others, is very tempered. I am excited. I do want to get this show hyped up into this week, and we will. But I'll be honest, Jared, this is there's only way to put it, 180 from where we were last year this year. It's just amazing to me, even with COVID. I know COVID has a lot to do with it, sure. But even with COVID, Jared, there's just, it's like, last year, it's like, we're here, we're ready, party, 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 party. Now we know this year COVID can't happen. This year, it's like, we're here. We have really cool uniforms, and we're here.
Andy, I think that's probably how I feel about it right now, too. The best way of explaining it. That you and I have gone back and forth regarding some of the things that we're hearing out of training camp, some of the things that we're hearing regarding the offensive play, whether Baker has figured it out. He's thrown too many interceptions. Yeah. Certain people are making jokes on whether he's going to finish the season or not. The typical bullshit that we hear no matter what during a Brown season is still there lingering. But there's no amplified theme that I'm hearing. There's nothing. We know that Jarvis Landry is a great leader on the field. Cool. We already knew that. We know that Baker's got some things to work out to make up for last season. Cool. We already knew that. Chubb and Hunt are two-headed monster in a backfield. Yeah, we already knew that. And we're worried about the offensive line and kind of the entire defense in different areas, depending on how you look at it. So, I mean, these are all just this is stuff that we've already known. There's nothing that's come out of training camp that has made us go, holy shit, or eureka, or this is going to be really bad, or this is going to be really great. It is strange to have I don't have a read, and I'll be honest with you. I feel better not having a read on the season. This is the first season in a long time where I didn't think I had a read on what was going on. And I'm okay with that right now. I like that they have been able to, avoid major COVID breakouts throughout the year, throughout training camp, that they seem to be getting along, and they love being back in the building with each other outside of just being on the field, so that they can build those bonds, with their brotherhood, as they like to call it. Andy, I haven't watched much of the Building the Browns, and I put on an episode today and caught the tail end of it. But I just haven't even really felt like pulling myself into that either. And really, it just comes down to this. These are my reasons. I'm exhausted for more reasons than one. And I'm exhausted with the Browns to begin with after all the hype that we had in them last season. So I'm just going to be pleasantly surprised if they don't get their asses kicked week 1, right? Like, I just want to see some good football. I want to get an idea of what kind of a team we have, but I don't have any way of making an educated guess outside of maybe they play 500 football this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will echo what you're saying. As I was going to say, boy, it feels like 8-8. It just feels like 8-8. There's a look, there's always a mystery.
8-8 would be fun. It'd be fun. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about fun. I'll see. Here's the thing. I don't know about fun. Here's what I will say about that.
I'm just saying it's not losing. It's not 7-9.
We'll see. But I'll remember that comment. It's 8-7, trying to make the playoffs if we go to 8-8. God, please don't let that happen. By the way. Oh no. Here's my whole comments about the Browns. We're gonna have to really come to grips to what Jared's saying, because I feel the same way. Who knows the hell this is good or bad, whatever. But this is the murkiest year, and murky could mean anything. Could they go 10-6 still, like I thought at the beginning of the year? Yeah. Before all this happened at the end of spring, yeah, I can see that. Could this team go 6-10? Yeah, I could see that. Could this team go worse than 6-10? Yeah, I can see that too. Do I think they'll go above 10-6? Wow, probably not. So it's in that range, right? I do think, to what Jared's saying, I just hope the excitement level for me builds, because I am ready. I mean, my son and I were talking about today. Cam and I'm definitely excited for the season to start, but there is no build up, no ramp up. It's hard to get any kind of vibe. I'm with Jared. I've watched some of these videos here and there. These videos, they're nicely done, but they're very vague. It's hard to get any kind of vibe on this team whatsoever. So again, maybe that's best off. Now, here's one thing I will say that I said last year, and I pounded it. Preseason means fucking nothing. So I'm not going to put anything in the preseason. I'll be honest with you, I don't miss preseason. What I do miss is the buzz. I do miss the Browns buzz. I do miss the ramp up. There's no ramp up, and I miss it. Do I miss the preseason? Oh God, no. Ugh. God, I really don't. But I miss the other buzz and the excitement and the energy. And, and again, it is what it is. It has to be this way. And again, a large part of it is because of COVID. We all know that. So it is what it is. So I guess getting into that, here's your season leading up into the week. And again, Ravens too. So it isn't like it's a soft punch, which we'll get more to the game on Friday today, more about the team itself. Yeah. The Browns made some cuts, as we all know. I was not stunned or shocked by any of these. A little surprised by Chad Thomas, but not super surprised. Gail Gilbert, Dontrell Hilliard, Ratley, and Thomas. Thomas and Ratley are not in the practice squad. Hilliard and Gilbert made it. We don't need to relive my comments about Dontrell Hilliard. I have nothing against the man. He stunk. He stunk. He was not good. Damian Ratley, never understood it. Never understood the Damian Ratley excitement. Never got it. And Chad Thomas underperformed. I thought he showed some improvement last year, but obviously they didn't. And so I get that too.
This should be a good sign that these guys were cut.
I thought that too. I was like, goodbye, Dontrell Hilliard.
This should be a good sign that Dontrell Hilliard isn't the guy that's going to be returning punts and kicking. Right?
Playing big moments in Seahawks games that cost them the game. You can't have it.
Now, but here's the other thing. Now, while this should be good, I don't know what expectations to have on whoever is running the ball back, which is it going to be Peoples-Jones?
JoJo Natson. Right. So
for both, what do we think about them? I don't know yet. So it's hard to make a call on any of this.
No, it is. But look, I'm sorry. I'm going to be very brutal. I've seen Dontrell Hilliard. He is not a good pro.
Absolutely.
I am so sorry. I don't get it. I've never understood Hilliard. I've never understood Ratley from day one. I watch him play and I'm like, I just don't get it. Dontrell Hilliard looks skittish and Ratley just doesn't look like a pro receiver. He doesn't look smooth. He doesn't look electric. Your eyes don't jump. And those are two positions, running back and wide receiver. You're expecting a spark. You're expecting big plays. Neither one did. What's more interesting to me about Hilliard, Ratley, and Thomas too, all these are Dorsey things.
Yes.
And so, we love Dorsey and all that stuff. Well, if we're really looking back, the Dorsey era is slowly being chipped away to some of the other eras we've seen in the past. So to be fair and putting out, Dorsey was not that great. Dorsey has not hit it out of the park as much as we thought.
No.
And I think it's time to be honest about that. He was okay. He was not good or great. He was okay. And by the way, a lot of it's going to rely on Baker Mayfield, but that's going to really swing the pendulum for Mr. Dorsey's tenure here. Well, you took the words out of my mouth regarding Dorsey, because these were Dorsey guys, and the fact that, and here's the other thing, Andy, we talked about this too. This regime let these guys come into camp and said, "Hey, show us. Hey, show us. Yes, show us why you're here." Yes. We're still hearing weird rumors about what's going to end up happening with Njoku, and whether he's going to stick around, whether he's going to get traded, whether he's going to get cut. There's certain things here that we have learned over time that we know that Dorsey just wasn't hitting the mark like we thought he was. Correct. In Dorsey we trust. We said those things. Those were our words, Andy, and I'm fine with eating them. I'm fine with eating them because none of us are going to, we're never going to hit it. We're never going to get it right. And we're always going to be hopeful because we're homers and there's nothing you're going to do about that. So again, I think Dorsey's tenure really comes down to Mayfield. And I like Ward a lot. Chubb's been good, but Mayfield is going to, because if he's good, then his tenure is good. You're right. That's it right there. If Mayfield is serviceable and stays, then cool. Thanks, Dorsey. You found our quarterback that we have. He did a good job. If he ends up being average or less, I think it's a flop. It's starting to turn that way. And again, I'm not surprised. And he signed Gilbert too, so you can throw Gilbert kind of in there too. And to be fair, Gilbert is your classic third string backup, so that doesn't mean anything. Hilliard, though, played in big moments last year. Ratley played in big moments last year. Yeah. Chad Thomas played in big moments when Myles Garrett went down, and none of them really made. Actually, the one guy who made kind of an impact was Chad Thomas. You remember some Chad Thomas plays. Ratley, he made me nervous, and Hilliard, just listen to an old podcast. He stunk. Sorry. So all that to be said, those were the guys who were gone. I was surprised by the buzz back from social media, and people were surprised about some of those cuts. I was not shocked. And again, maybe a touch surprised by Thomas, but honestly, from what we heard about the younger kid, which we'll get to in a second, I understood Chad Thomas too. He never blew you away. The other thing the Browns did on Sunday, September 6th, is they claimed two guys to add to the roster. Joe Jackson, defensive end, not surprising, and a fourth-year defensive tackle, Vincent Taylor. I agree with Jared's comments. The defense has more question marks than the offense right now, even though I think the offense has more question marks as a team going in. I think the defense they're competing for who has more question marks. Yeah, I agree. They're very different. The pieces and parts on offense and defense outside of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. I think it's fluctuating really at times on this team. We'll get to that more in a second. The big news, though, which was a good sign, and I'm glad to see this from this team. This team's been hesitant to do that, was the Ronnie Harrison trade. He has been excited. I listened to his press conference today. That kid is so excited to be in Cleveland, which was great to see. Quote, relieved to be out of Jacksonville, ready to rock. And if you watch this press conference, he was smiling. It was excitable. It was such a cool vibe from him. And that was a great pickup. I mean, this had to do it for the secondary so banged up, Jared. Had to. Well, this was something that I was hoping to keep an eye on, and they did actually make a move because the Jaguars are unloading because they have their sights on next season.
So you know that there's potential to pick someone up like this. You only traded a 5th-round draft pick for this guy. It's going to work out, hopefully. He's coming here excited. Yeah. Then on the opposite side of the coin is, oh, boy, you thought you wanted out of Jacksonville?
Joe Schober.
Damn well, in a year, he might want out of Cleveland. So
I know.
Yeah, right? So
how about Joe Schober? Oh, God. Cash in that check, Joe.
Poor guy. Right. Cash the check.
Cash that check, Joe. But I think Harrison said, I didn't write the quote down, Jared, but he said in so many words, this team has a lot of talent. And that's why I will carry this flag through Friday. Don't lose hope. This team is very talented. This team on paper is ready to win. This is not draft pick season, and that's why the trade had to happen and made sense. It was a good sign for this team. Now, all that to be said, let's go through position real quick. Here's the full 50-man 3 today. There was no surprise in the depth chart except for 1 or 2, and I'll hit those as we go along. Case Keenum Mayfield, that's a duh. Chubb, Hunt, and Dearness Johnson. Chubb and Hunt are going to play 85, 90% of the time, unless there's an injury. So those are going to be your 2 running backs. Jonovich, that's a duh too. Tight ends. Bryant, Carlson, Hooper, Njoku. The key thing here is Hooper 1, Bryant 2, Njoku 3 on the depth chart, and then Carlson 4. So Njoku has lost a spot to Harrison Bryant, who, Jared, real quick on the tight ends before we get to wide receiver. I've been hearing many great things from Tony Grossi, there were some other beat reporters too. Harrison Bryant has stood out, and he is not just a catcher, he's a pass blocker.
Well, that's huge. That is huge because you're looking at possibly having 2 tight ends on the field a lot. And you've got to be able to block, they're going to need that extra protection for Baker. They're going to need that extra protection. And if you got a tight end to catch too, that's going to help out immensely with Baker as well, because we know that we worry about his size, balls being batted down, him getting skittish. If he needs to get rid of the ball, got yourself some tight ends to look for. That is going to help. Now, will it pay dividends in the end? Again, we'll find out.
Well, Hooper's a given. He's steady. I would be surprised if he's not.
Yes.
And Bryant makes you feel so good as a team. And Njoku's a 3. You'll never hear me complain about that. Now, Njoku's a 2 would make me nervous. And Njoku's a 3. He's the best 3 in the league. I mean, the tight ends for the Browns have taken a major step up. If they think Bryant is this good, which is a great, great sign.
Yep.
And again, for people not listening to this podcast, even before Bryant, Njoku, not a fan. Anyways, not a lot to be said. Those are your tight ends. Wide receivers, we all know them well. Here's the key things from today. Hodge is listed before Peoples-Jones. Not a surprise, because Peoples-Jones is a rookie. I think Peoples-Jones is going to get some playing time and make his moments had. I thought today, though, which was a really smart move by the Browns, they put out there Harrison, which you knew. They put out there a couple other guys, but they put out Rashard Hollywood Higgins. And I thought that was a smart move to have him talk to the press today, to kind of get his thing out there, because he really went back and said, hey, there is some quotes from Mr. Higgins. There's no place like Cleveland. I love everything about Cleveland. It means the world to me. And he also mentioned, Jared, I didn't take down exact quotes, about how it was asked by him. And he said, yeah, this is a fresh start for me. This is a new year for me. 2019 was not fun for Mr. Higgins, which we all knew, but it was good for him to be honest about that.
Well, the good news about that is it wasn't fun for any of us, right? No. I mean, let's just say that. It wasn't fun for anybody. And a guy like Higgins, relies partially on the momentum of the rest of the team, I'm guessing. He's going to rely on Baker being sharp. And those weren't things that he got. Now, let's see. Again, can Higgins show out this season? Can Higgins make his presence known and felt on the field? Again, 50-50 coin flip for Rashard Higgins in my book.
I'm more higher. I'm more like 70-30. In fact, I think the wide receivers have really jumped up this year. I'm sorry. Ratley getting out of there was he was clogging up. The tight ends and wide receivers to me, Jared, and even though they were pretty talented last year too, the tight ends were weak. Tight ends were really weak. But the wide receivers and tight ends have really improved. I mean, I don't really see, again, if Njoku's your 3, your tight ends are stacked. And your wide receivers, I know what I've been hearing from Peoples-Jones. I saw him play in Michigan. If he's in your 5th category and Higgins is playing above him, and Higgins deserves that. Now, Cordell Hodge, I want to see more of. But okay, you're putting him ahead of the rookie. That's fine. These are much better positions, even with Beckham and Landry already there last year.
Well, I will say this. I have very high expectations for Donovan Peoples-Jones because this is a kid who's coming out of the team up north and didn't get to show off as much as he probably would have liked to.
Correct.
Playing with that quarterback and for that team and for that coach. So
Correct.
He has opportunity to really make his presence felt playing for this Cleveland Browns team. And I know they were excited to get him, especially later on. What was it, third round? Or did they get him later than that?
Peoples-Jones is sixth
round, correct. Yes.
Think about that. 6th round.
So he fell a lot too towards the end.
He did. And by the way, what a sneaky Harrison Bryant was on the second day. Peoples-Jones on third day. Jared, these are players I think are going to play major minutes.
Well, it's nice to get someone like Peoples-Jones later, who slipped, as opposed to somebody who was in the supplemental and got in trouble a whole lot. And you had your fingers crossed, that he was going to stay out of trouble.
AKA Callaway.
Who is now actually signing, I believe, with Miami.
He just signed. He's on the practice squad, not on a roster. He's on a practice squad,
right?
Which says a lot about Callaway's. Callaway's talented, and for him to still be just on a practice squad tells you how far he has fallen. Here's the thing. Again, Beckham and Landry side, and Beckham's healthy. Rashard Higgins, when he's active and playing well, he's a good 3. He's not a 1 or 2. He is a good 3. Hodge need to see more of. But I know what I think from Peoples-Jones. JoJo Natson's purely returner. If JoJo Natson's playing big downs, gulp. But if he's kicking things, I'm okay there. But the tight ends wide receivers, Jared, taking a major step up to me.
Well, and the guy that we haven't even talked about yet is Odell Beckham Jr. And the fact that he's going to step onto that field is all healthy. Well, and the same thing with Landry coming back after, now that he's recovered from his surgery, that hopefully he will come back 100% as well.
Yep.
All right. See, now I'm getting a little excited. Now I'm getting a little excited, right? It's there. I got a little smile on my face. But damn it, I'm tired of getting excited and being let the fuck down, Andy. That's really all it is.
Chubb and Hunt, I think they're going to have big years. Hooper, I think he's going to catch a lot of touchdowns. Beckham, I think he's going to have a big year too. Landry, I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers slip, but not because he's bad, but because these others are getting more catches. Yeah. I think Higgins is going to have a nice year. I love these things. Very, very excitable. Jonovich, we know he's going to play well. So, if we're saying that, where's my questions? Now let's get to the offensive line. I will say, even with the draft pick, even with free agency, this position, I'm still nervous. I am not feeling fantastic. Batonio, we know what he can do. He's good. Jack Conklin, we believe we know what he can do. He's pretty good. We're not going to worry about those two. That's being way too exaggeratory. Now, J.C. Treader came back to practice.
Yep.
When he's in there, he's a good, consistent center. You have a good backup, Nick Harris. So, center, Nick Harris starting there makes you nervous. He's a rookie. That nothing more needs to be said. But J.C. Treader looks like he's going to be playing now because he's just practicing. And even not, I have enough confidence in Nick Harris. We know we know the right guards, whatever. Taylor will be fine, or whoever's going to be there is fine. Jedrick Wills, the more I thought about today, is a nervous. I'm nervous.
Yeah, no.
I've been nervous about him as a draft pick. I think he's talented. I think he's good. I think this is not a plug and play position.
We don't have a choice.
Well, we have no plan B. And that's what makes me nervous. Everything else I just went through. Wide receivers. Well, Beckham gets hurt. Well, Don Peoples-Jones is ready. Yeah, well, what happens if Harrison Bryant gets? Well, Njoku's your 3. That's a guy who can go in and play. He's not a great player, but that's a good, solid 3. Okay. Like running back, if Chubb gets hurt, well, Hunt's ready to go. Like you see things here. Jedrick Wills goes down. Jedrick Wills stinks.
And this is where you start to question why they didn't have another 1 year for a guy at least to come in, because they're sitting higher on that salary cap than most other teams with still 35.
They're number one again.
What do I got? 35, 39
34,
million?
I think I wrote the stat down. It's hold on for a second. It's so funny you said that. That came out today. $34.74 million. Number one again.
So that's money there for a year.
I would love to see a 1 year flyer for a veteran. Look, And by the way, to be fair, every team has a position that makes you nervous. Okay? By far the Browns is left tackle. Left tackle makes me again, I don't think he's going to stink.
That's not a good worry to have.
I'm with you. Jared. I'm with you. I'm just saying what's in my gut. Jedrick Wills makes me nervous.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's going to stink. It doesn't mean he won't play well. He is so unknown. We haven't seen any preseason games. I just know from what I've known throughout the years of, I watched a little bit of practice, whatever else, and he's been looking okay. Like, it's not a big deal there. But when you're not getting a lot of write-ups and when people aren't talking about, like I heard people talk about Nick Harris. Wills never really got spoken about other than he's having a hard time. He's having a hard time slowing down. What is that gentleman's name who played really well this year? Give me a second. Porter Gustin. Gustin really took aim at him. Okay. Now, again, time will tell. We will see. But for people who are like, well, why are you so nervous about the offense? And so Jedrick Wills is my circle. And of course, 6. Now, I believe in 6. We'll get to him last. But Wills get nervous. I don't know if he stinks.
I'll take a lot of these. I'll take a lot of these if it means taking care of Baker. There'll be a lot of holding for those who are listening to the podcast and not watching live. A lot of holding calls. I'll take those over the sacks over our quarterback getting beat up every day. So
according to what I've been hearing, he has a lot of offsides issues, a lot of false starts.
All right. Well, pre-snap stuff that's just going to drive me up a fucking wall. Right.
We're good at a good false start. And by the way, he fits right in. That has lived through many regimes. This is not just a Freddie Kitchens thing. This is Hugh Jackson. We'll save that for another podcast. Anyways, that's your offense. So if that's our only nervous thing, that's not terrible. It's pretty good. Right. And again, a lot depends on 6, and we all know that. Okay. Defensive line, we all know the guys. The defensive ends have, to me, Jared, again, if Porter Gustin's as good as they think he is, and Olivier Vernon, I mean, if he plays shittier than he did last year, wow, I can't imagine he will. Yeah. And if so, I'm assuming that, Claiborne's going to push him anyways because he's the third down sacker. So you have, again, this is what I like. If Vernon stinks on key downs, Claiborne's coming in. If he gets pushed around enough, they'll put in Gustin above Olivier. So I see players. This isn't Chad Thomas coming in to replace Olivier Vernon. That's a good thing. The defensive ends have improved dramatically on this team. Ogunjobi and Richardson was great last year. So the front 4 is a good pillar of strength. Am I wrong? That's what I feel on this team.
Well, and we've talked about this. You need the front 4, which then you're going to have to take care of that secondary. And we knew we were going to come in thin again at linebacker, but then we were worried about the injuries we're dealing with, the stuff going on with Greedy Williams, who still isn't coming in. That secondary. Now they did grab a safety, but goodness gracious, you're worried about the linebackers and the secondary and wondering how they're going, because they're going to have to, teams are going to run up a score if they can't handle this.
Sean Taki playing in big spots, which he's going to be now, is going to be interesting. We'll have to see how much he's improved. Everybody raves about BJ Goodson. Everybody does, but he's out because of a personal reason right now. And Jared, I heard more great things about him today again, too. So if Goodson can somehow get to Berea by Wednesday and come in and play, that's a great sign. But I got to be honest, Jared, you got to figure right now that's 50-50 at best, right? Don't you think? I mean, I can't see him playing right now.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you're looking at Mac Wilson, who he's playing with more heart than most, but he's got to do well against the run. He's got to do well against the run.
Pass. I mean, you said it so well, and you knew exactly where I was going. On third downs, Mac Wilson's your friend. He is a great 2020 pass linebacker. He's great. Playing the run, he struggled. But if Goodson, Jacob Phillips, you've been hearing good things, bad things, rookie things. So that's good. That's not bad. Tay Davis is what it is. And Sean Taki, to be fair, he was a rookie. Let's see what happens this year. You would hope he takes that next step.
Well, and again, this is a kid who came in from a prior regime and was given a chance and somehow has made the squad. So did he make the squad because they didn't have anything else, or did he make the squad because he earned it? And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what they were working with.
It is. And Sean Taki stunk last year. But we'll see. He was a rookie. Defensive backs, you hit everything. I want to do one thing, then we'll get to the rest. People need to lay off Denzel Ward. When he's healthy, he was a Pro Bowler his rookie year. Yeah. He single-handedly won the Ravens game in 18, okay? He's a very, very good player. People need to stop picking on him. Tired of it. He's a good player. Leave him alone. He's a good player. Greedy Williams is hurt. I hope he comes back healthy. They are going to need him. Again, talkie, Greedy Williams. Williams stunk last year. Williams was awful. And he wasn't just awful to the eyes. Statistically, he was one of the worst cornerbacks in the league. Again, a rookie. You'd have to hope he plays better. Harrison is a great sign. It's too bad. You heard so many great things about Delp, but that's for next year. Kevin Johnson, you hope the liver heals up because you're going to need him at some point. The rest is history. The Terrence Mitchell, by the way, is a good, again, it reminds me of some of these other things we just said. Terrence Mitchell's a good sub. I mean, he's not going to win you games. We know that, but he's not going to lose you games. He's a good sub. So I don't think the defensive backs is that terrible. So all that to be said, you look at the different parts here. You look at the different things. It's not as bad as what probably some people are making it out to be. But look, if the defensive line does what I thought it was going to do last year, Jared, I actually think the defense will be in good shape because I really like the defensive line. I really like the defensive line last year too.
No, I'm with you on that. The defensive line there, and if offensively, that was the one weird thing that the Browns were still able to do is those first drives. Yep. Browns offense, if they can, right? I mean, they would do well on their first drives. It was nobody planned. Nobody drew up a better first drive than Freddie Kitchens. The rest of the game that he didn't find. So a first drive, he's got it down.
Oh, he's got it down.
Everything else was gone.
And by the way, Zippy. It would be good.
It'd be so quick. They would score so quickly.
Like it was like breathing in oxygen. It was funny when you say that.
They came out hot and then, burned out quickly, like gunpowder.
I mean, it was like you watch that Titans game, you're like, holy shit, we may never not have to punt. And then I missed field goal and extra point, away we go.
Speaking of which, specialists.
So Gillian's there. The hammer's great.
He's back from the COVID, so
he's good.
He kicked COVID's ass like we expected him to. Now he needs to
only
kick
the hammer. Only the hammer would scare COVID out of him.
He'll be back to buying beers for folks in downtown Cleveland soon.
He is trying. He is that becoming that mythical Phil Dawson character. It's like you shouldn't know who your kickers are, but we know who this Scottish Hammer is. Hewlett's your long snapper. We won't say his name for the rest of the year unless something bad happens. And there's Austin Seibert. I won't do too much today. I'll save it more for next week. Seibert just needs to be circling one thing on all these things that happen. I saw him kick. His kicks in the 40s this year are a lot more sustainable until they gets into the 8s and 9s and beyond. 48 and beyond does not. We don't have a chance. I'll just say it right now. If it's 50 plus, we should punt. Just punt. Just forget it. Hey,
or if the offense is rolling, go for it.
Exactly.
And if that defensive line is as good as we hope they are, go for it.
Right. Hey, 45 and in, get him out there. He'll be all right.
I'm a go for it guy anyways, going with the odds. I know. If this team could be consistent offensively, you go for it.
You should be able to go for it. So that's that. The only thing, though, I would tell, which I thought was interesting, they on their practice squad, you only get 16 spots. They kept Parkey, the backup kicker who doinked the field goal in the Bears-Eagles playoff game. They kept him, which just tells we're all feeling like we like you, but we're just saying. We're just keeping
everybody
it real.
Everybody needs a chance at redemption.
Yeah, again, keeping it real. We're watching you, Austin. We love you. But we're going to keep him just in case you fuck up. That's all.
Keeping Cody Parkey isn't a good sign for that.
Again, it
doesn't.
Again,
if this doesn't work out with him,
we're keeping him. Just to let you know, we got him right here. We saw.
But again, I go back to this, and it's the only other position where I'll say it. Got $35 million sitting there, cap money.
I know. By the way, they cut Vinatieri this week. And now Vinatieri lost a step last year, so I don't want to give false hopes and dreams. But you do wonder, Jared, when I saw that, my eyeballs went, Oh man, golly. I would spend a few extra million just for one more, even if it's just for a week, just to see what you got. Any tread on the tires. Man, I'd give that guy a call. And by the way, he took a big step back last year. And Vinatieri's an instant Hall of Famer. By the way, instant Hall of Famer. So it's nothing against the guy. He's had a wonderful career. But man, I'd give him a ring. Wouldn't you give him one last shot?
Why not?
Why
not? You've got a chance to win a ring this year, baby. If he came to Cleveland. Now you got a chance to win a ring this year. You never know.
JC Treader is back in practice. That's a good. I don't have anything to follow up on there. JC Treader is back in practice. That's a good thing. BJ Goodson, who is getting very high compliments in the press and by coaches, which usually means he is. Like you can hear. Like here's a quote from Stefanski on Goodson. Quote, high energy guy. You hear him before you see him, end quote. So obviously people are very high on him. You hope everything's okay in his life as he's dealing through some personal stuff. Greedy Williams is still out, is as MJ Stewart. So those are your guys. They have a day off. Tomorrow's Tuesday the 8th, and then they go full practice on Wednesday night throughout the rest of the week. Everybody else is playing. Everybody else is out there. And by the way, unless I'm wrong, by the way, I don't think Johnson. I think Jonathan last liver is still out. Everybody else is in play. Everybody, and I will say, JC Treader being back out there is a miracle. Good for him. My God, is that guy good?
Is there any word you say that? I know Johnson's still out. That we still don't know, huh? At all, anything.
I think you're talking 4 or 5, week 5. I mean, last liver. I mean,
that's brutal.
That's brutal. And that's been the story of his career. That's why the Texans did what they did. When Kevin Johnson's out there, he's talented. He's never healthy. Never healthy. So. I mean, and for people, again, that's why the Texans gave up on, because and again, nothing against the guy. It is what it is. But in football, especially, it is a tag that can really live throughout your career, sadly. Yeah. And sadly, sometimes it can be very, very accurate. We'll have to see how this goes with JC Treader. Stefanski declined to say he's going to start, but he is on the practice field. Take that for what it is. Now, an interesting rumor that came out today from John Clayton, Pro Football Talk. The Saints tried to engage the Browns in signing Clowney and then trading him for draft picks. But the NFL put the kibosh on the NBA sign and trade deal. How interesting is that? Is that why the Browns were going after Devaney and Clowney, was to sign him and then trade him for draft picks?
Collusion.
Interesting. Analytics.
And I bet, was Barry salivating over this? I mean, possibly, right? Clowney had none of it, though. We know he didn't really have the nicest thing. He didn't say great things about Cleveland, right? He didn't. I mean, So,
but maybe that's why they were trying to get him. So I was like, hey, we're not keeping you. We're trading in New Orleans. We just want to
so calm down. Go play in New Orleans.
Relax. Shut the fuck up. We're just sending you down New Orleans. You'll be fine.
Who knows if they even told him.
But who knows? But anyways, I thought that was an interesting hot rumor for a second.
Weird. All right.
All right. So a few more things, and then we'll wrap up here on the Browns before we get to the Tribe up 5-2 in the 8th, bottom of the 8th. So 3 more outs away. Brad Hand time. Live on the air, by the way. This will be fun. David Njoku, we talked about him. I think this late in the game, I don't think he'll be traded. Do you? A lot of rumors still going around. You mentioned it. I think Njoku will be dressed up, ready to go week 1.
I think if they're going to make a trade, it better be for. I can't make a call. Can't make a call what they're going to do. I think they will suit him up because I think that they want all these all these tight ends.
I do too. I think at this point,
there was a moment we thought we were going to go into week 1 with 5.
The guy got cut. I forget his name. And by the way, people were shocked. I guess he played well. Boy, it's amazing how the tight ends have changed. Again, for people who didn't listen to this podcast last year, I did not like our tight ends last year. And so this group has improved tenfold in my book, which is good to see. But I don't think he'll be traded. Now, Tony Grossi, so this is according to him, had a interesting rumor in his column on Sunday. 2 sources told him in January that Barry had Rosen initially rated as his top quarterback in the 2018 draft. Oh, wow. They also said that Mayfield surpassed Rosen and Barry's evaluation by the end of the draft process. For what it's worth, another source denied to him that all this to him was false and that it was rumor. Now, Rosen currently does not have a team.
And this will be his 3rd his third team, won't it?
Yeah. He's only been in the league the same amount of times as Mayfield. I don't think they'll sniff him. I wouldn't touch him. I just wouldn't touch him, to be honest with you.
I don't know that bringing him in is a good move.
I would not bring
for the team.
6.
It's a little late at this point to bring in a quarterback like that. That would be bad for 6. That would be a
tough.
That'd be tough. Especially if it wasn't before the season, early in the season. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough pill. That's a very tough pill. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. We talked about the league salary cap again, $34.74 million. Doug Wickard, good friend of mine, put in Njoku in the slot so he can attempt and fail to do block TVs. Absolutely. Doug Wickard and Doug and I went to Toledo together, and we're very, very like-minded when it comes to football stuff. I'm with you, Wick. I have never understood Njoku from day one. Never. And he doesn't have good hands. And he's not blocking tight end. So,
we know this, and we're expecting nothing but mediocre things from Njoku this season. So that's where we are.
Harrison Bryant's exciting now. Harrison Bryant's exciting.
I don't know why we're getting insults now. You don't get insulted like I do on the Facebook comments.
Well, I got sunglasses on.
Craig Rodick on Facebook. Jared, that beard needs to be traded. You're probably correct on that. I didn't put the beard oil in today, so that's where we're at. Anyway,
is there beard oil? Man, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I've had a beard forever. Anyways, all that to be said, did not know that'd be something I'd lose in like some bad. There's beard oil. Bullshit. There is. Fuck. Nah, I never knew. Oh,
yeah, there's lots of it. Beard oil. All over. So, yeah. Thing now.
Are we excited that there's more fans that's going to be allowed? 6,000 fans now instead of 1,500?
I am, only because I may have a friend or two with a connection or two where I might end up at a game. So I'm not.
Jared Watson's excited.
I'm not going to turn my nose up to that possibility. Yes, I am kind of excited. I might end up in one of those seats, socially distanced, and hopefully watching the Browns kick some ass.
Yes.
I think it makes sense. Now, the way that they made these rules, and it was Governor DeWine came out and they're testing it through the first 2 games of the season, correct? That's the way that I heard it initially. Yes.
Yeah. Wait, let me backtrack. Correct. It's only been approved, and same for the Bengals. The Bengals
correct. The Browns get two home games to test it out. It's $1,500 per quarter of the stadium, so 6,000 total. You have to go in at your designated entry point, and you will be socially distanced. I'm not sure about the mask wearing mandatory, but they probably will.
You have to. You have to.
And then on top of that, there is no tailgating. We know that already in Cleveland. There's no tailgating. So it all depends on behavior. That's why they're doing it this way, I think. It depends on behavior. It's a trial run. Don't fuck it up, Browns fans.
I agree with you. Let me just state, I think that's played a big part of this, obviously. Cleveland, I mean, every city's got their tailgating. So let's not, we're the best tailgaters. I'm not saying that. But Browns fans from day one of my generation has either been tailgating or congregating at houses or bars to watch games. Browns backers clubs at bars. I did that throughout my whole lifetime. I went to Toledo. We'd either be hungover watching in the dorm or we'd go to the BW3s and watch the games all day. That's what you did. That's what we all did. Yep. And it is going to be weird. But again, I won't stress this enough because I don't want to be a party pooper. It is the right thing. You can't tailgate. Can't do any of that stuff. We won't go into that today. So I want to keep it on the field, but it makes the most sense. Now,
I think it'll be nice. I think that 6,000 fans is a nice number. There's going to be a lot of people that are let down, but it'll be fun if you get in.
Yes. We'll get more into the Ravens game on Friday. We'll get more into the big year that is number 6 next week, too. The last thing I want to on the Browns, and then we can get to the Tribe as we have now in the top of the 9th. See, Mr. Hank can close the game has been very, very good recently. Myles Garrett, and a great thing, is doing something called Myles Garrett Helping Out with Water Boys Foundation. For people who don't know, he's helping out with people who need safe drinking water in their communities. This is a great thing. Every time he gets a sack, he's going to pledge $5,000. He's also making it open to the public to donate, so please donate if you can. Myles Garrett does not get enough attention. And I think he likes it that way. He is a great player and a very good person. And this says a lot about Myles Garrett doing
well. And the cool thing about this is we recognize that these water issues aren't just abroad and in areas around the world. And we always see in Africa how they'll get water filtration systems or be able to dig wells for certain areas. But we know that Flint, Michigan is still having its issues still to this day here in the United States. I mean, it makes me sick at my stomach. But at the same time, Myles is out there doing what he can and doing his part to try and get these folks clean drinking water. Lord knows that if there's anything we need more than anything on this planet, it's clean drinking water. So Myles, shout out to you. Always doing amazing things to help others and to care about others. What a great guy to have in Cleveland.
Great man.
I love it. I love seeing these guys there. We talked about Brad Hand being another guy who was up for the Roberto Clemente Award this year for Major League Baseball. Cookie Carrasco has done his share of helping out others. There are a lot of great people that play for these professional teams in Cleveland sports that do amazing work to reach out and help people around the world. It's something that I've noticed more and more over the past years, and I'm proud to say that they love doing it, and they're repping Cleveland well by doing it. Yep.
I mean, for everything that's been going on, the Browns I like where the Browns are heading, murkiness or not. I really do on the field and certainly off the field. Jared hit something that I was going to punctuate here before we get into the Indians. 1 out, by the way, so 2 outs away from another win. The Browns have really done a great job of not just drafting players with talent, but drafting people who are very good in the community. Yeah. Jarvis Landry does a lot of things.
Yes.
Nick Chubb does a lot of things. Kevin Stefanski already, you can tell, plays that role really well. To be fair, Hugh Jackson did a lot of good things for the community, who did a lot of big things.
Odell helps out with
Odell does a lot of things for kids. A lot of things for kids. These are good people. And the thing is, it doesn't get talked about enough. So again, Odell Beckham doing things for kids. Landry does a lot for the community. Myles Garrett, we just mentioned. I see Nick Chubb.
LeBron opened his school while he was still here.
Mayfield's been doing things too.
Too. Yes.
So this team does a lot, and it needs to be publicized more. And this is a good team. We'll get into more about Mayfield on the field and leading up into the Ravens week on Friday. Let's turn away from a 1 out. We're 1 out now, victory away for the Indians.
Cleveland Indians.
This team, the Indians, I'm now speaking of, is getting fun. Here is the good thing about this year before we get all the way down to Bieber and tonight. The biggest thing that I want to start talking about tonight is counting wins of where we're at. Because you know what? You can. Because right now, they're a win away from playing 41 games. Right now, Jared, it's going to take an epic collapse for the Indians not to make the playoffs. The Indians are going to be in the playoffs. So this is good and exciting. What's also nice about this team is you can feel it coming together. You can feel them playing well. There is many different guys that play many different hats in this team. But what's great is, even if I just want to remind this before we get into the Indians, this team is doing so good, and they finally got off to a hot start. It wasn't torrid, but because they're 25-15, about ready to become 26-15, Jared, they have given themselves enough of a distance and pace where if they go 500 down the stretch, folks, they're in the playoffs. That's all you got to do. That's it.
Andy, the numbers that I looked at recently that raised my eyebrows a little bit were one that tells you right away that the pitching is unstoppable. And that is the fact that the Indians only need to score 3 runs a game to have a better than 95% chance, 90% chance of winning that game, right?
20-2. Barry become 21-2. 20-2.
So a 90% chance of winning.
Yeah.
Point being, score three or more runs, and you're going to dominate 9 out of 10 games. You're going to win 9 out of 10 games. So that's one. 2 is, when I look at their run differential, Andy, throughout the season, they're still at a plus 50 something.
Only White Sox are better.
And there which tells you again, they're scoring. I mean, it's there. That number looks better than you would expect. But again, it's always it goes back to because pitching has been so dominant, right?
Pitching's been suffocating.
Then
pitching's been suffocating.
The thing that I worry about, though, is when we talk about only the White Sox are better, I did look throughout the rest of the league, and everyone is pretty much around that 50 some number, except for one team who's double all of that, and it's the Dodgers. The Dodgers score runs. The Dodgers differential is like 90 some runs. That is double. So is this pitching staff, hypothetically, if it were to happen, good enough to stop the Dodgers in a series.
Okay, I'm glad. You must have gone down the rundowns. This is a question.
No, I didn't look at that one,
alluding to. So
son of a gun.
so here's what I'm alluding to. Because right now the Indians in the AL, only the Royals that are playing tonight and the Rangers are worse. The Indians are third worst in runs scored. Now they have gotten better, but my God, they were horrific. There was podcasts, they were only averaging like 2 to 3 runs a game. Now they're averaging a little over 4. I mean, a little over 4. But Jared hit it. The pitching is suffocating. Also, I want to bring up the second point of why they can't. The glove has been very, very good. I was going to mention this tonight. The Indians glove, what J-Ram did on Sunday was Brooks Robinson type stuff. Not even my words. They said it on Sunday Night Baseball when they did the plays of the week. He was number 3. That play on Sunday, what he did, getting that ball, winging it across the diamond to get an out as Brad Hand gets strike 3. Brad Hand's been wonderful. Another good win for the Tribe. Great job, boys. Great job. Keep pouring it on.
So they just wrapped up and beat the Royals? Is that what you're
26 saying? 26 and 15. 5-2 is your final score.
Beautiful.
They have the gloves to do it. Honestly, they, to me, would be the team I would not want to play if I were the opposites because, Jared, there's many interchangeable parts now I'm seeing. Plesac, yes, we know he's young. He played last year. Okay? We know Cookie. Bieber is on his way from maybe being an AL MVP for getting Cy Young. That's how well he's playing. These are big things. Karinchak is struggling. It's not costing this team a lot.
Right.
Like, how many times when we see a Karinchak struggling, it's like, well, shit, our week is fucked. Not this team. This team has too many other parts. Maton's, okay, I laughed at him. Dominic Leone is actually pitching pretty well lately out of the bullpen. So the interchangeable parts on pitching is why I feel very good. Jared, if it was just Shane Bieber and some guys who are just hot, I'd be like, okay, I'm a little nervous. Jared, I see a lot more guys. I'm like, Plesac tonight look great. I like Tristan McKenzie a lot. I like Savali. Savali pitched well in big spots last year. I don't love him, but I like him. He's a great 5. Okay. He's a great 5. Okay. I love Bieber, obviously. Cookie's been in all sorts of playoff games. Jared, they have it. And their bullpen is there. Pluck goes your long man if you get in trouble. I like Quantrill. He hasn't been great so far, but I like what I see out of him. Cam Hill, I think, is going to be nasty. I love Karinchak. I know he's been rough lately. We'll get to it. But I still love Karinchak. Jared, they do. The only thing I'll say, and I will not get off this, are a bat short. This team's a bat short. And tonight, we saw it again. It doesn't play in this game. J-Ram got hurt. Hopefully he's okay. Had some sort of little injury. And Mike Freeman comes in the game. Mike Freeman in a big spot in the World Series make me nervous.
Yeah, Mike Freeman when you're up against the Royals is fine though, right?
Not Andy? Against the Royals in the World Series.
But that's my point. They're not. And are they stuck with Mike Freeman?
I'm Jared. I don't know.
I don't know. Can they bring a guy up?
Nolan Jones. I mean, is he ready?
That's what I mean. I don't know. I don't know who's ready. And what's making it more difficult, and I don't know whether this is in the rundown or not, is Sandy Alomar Jr. is still out there as skipper of this team at the moment. We know that Tito still has not fully recovered from the issues that he's been dealing with, gastrointestinal and all that stuff. So doing better. And, as always, we wish him well, and we hope that he is recovering. And take your time. There's no reason for him to rush back either. He can chill out. He can feel better. He can get to where he needs to get, and he'll be back in time, and that's fine. But I'm wondering, though, if some of that has anything to do with any roster moves that they would make, or any guys that they would bring up.
Okay, I'll take it in parts. Let's save the infield and catcher, because I think those are separate discussions right now. DH2, Reyes can't get hurt. Reyes cannot get hurt.
No.
Can't. I mean, that he has no choice. Can't get hurt. Okay. Now let's get to the other things here. The outfield, to me, surprisingly, I'm feeling a lot different than I did last week.
Yep.
Mercado, kudos. I said this.
He's come back and looked good.
Great. He's looked great. He's done. He was huge. For people who didn't watch on Saturday, Mercado won that game. Hader had not given up a hit all year. First pitch, bam, Mercado, double. Next pitch, wild pitch, Mercado on third. Couple pitches later, bam, Hernandez, game over. I mean, it's, by the way, Hernandez, another guy, can't get hurt. But that's what worries me, if I'm being truthful. Hernandez can't get hurt. Lindor can't get hurt. J-Ram can't get hurt. Roberto Perez can't get hurt. I just don't. I see a lot of guys in the infield.
All right.
Like,
well, here, let me calm you down a little bit. Let me bring you back a little bit on the worries on can't get hurt. We're 19 games out to finish the season, Andy.
I know.
19. We're only playing 60. We're not playing 162.
Again, and they have pad, have pad to make the playoffs, so they're good.
And they have pad to make the playoffs.
They're good.
They're gonna be fine. They're good. Good juju. Knocking on wood. No injuries. Correct. We can't deal with them. None. There are a lot of positions can't deal with them. But I will say this, and we've talked about it earlier on before the season even started. In a shortened season like this, a lot of this plays into their favor, into being able to thread that needle. It really does.
If the bullpen keeps this up, the Indians are right there. And I really mean that. They're right there. They are a bat short. I'm not going to get off that. Okay. All that to be said, if the bullpen keeps this up, it will hide that bat shortness throughout the rest of the season and the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so far they have. Whitgren, Boilermaker, has been very good. I like Cam Hill. Dominic Leone, I was shocked when they kept him up. I'll be fair. He's pitched 2 8th innings and done a pretty nice job.
I'll say if we
turn around.
If we do want to talk about one other worry, we can talk about the setup for postseason this year for Major League Baseball. That could be a worry because the Indians have no room to have a bad series against anyone. No room.
Well, no one does. But again, here's why I don't. You know what, Jared? I'm not. Here's why. Bieber. If Bieber loses a game in the playoffs, the Indians weren't going to win that series. Okay, I mean, you hate saying that, but in that first series, if you got the AL MVP and you got the Cy Young, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you got to roll them out. You know what I mean? Like against any other team, I'm there. I don't think Bieber's ever going to lose. I know it's obviously not true.
That really comes down to the fact that the Indians have gotten their bats going a little bit, and you're hoping that continues. Period. That's the only.
I'm not that hopeful about the bats. I think the bats I think this is it. 5 runs. I mean, we saw it again today. They averaged a little over 4 runs. They got 5 tonight. That's your Indians. I mean, that's a good night.
Plenty.
That's a good night.
That's the Indians, right?
This team's a bat short. I don't want to harp on it. Now,
I know.
Here's the thing that's interesting that the Indians have done. Which is unfucking believable, but kudos to them. This pitching is all young and controllable. And Carlos Carrasco has signed a nice veteran contract, is not going anywhere. The Indians' starting rotation's in wonderful shape. They have got parts in places, and I've liked Josh Naylor. I don't love him, but I like him. He's a good player. He plays a nice outfield.
Yeah.
Tyler Naquin has exploded. God bless him. That guy's had a great week. We'll get into that more detail later. Mercado, again, am I sold on Mercado? No, but Mercado or DeShields is your starting center fielder. But Mercado playing once in a while, I'm okay with. And DeShields has done a nice job. He's a great starting center fielder. And if Mercado's coming off your bench, I've turned full circle. If it's DeShields, Naylor, Naquin, and Mercado's off your bench, Jared, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
It's not great, but we have turned that around. We have turned that outfield attitude around. Again, the infield and Reyes can't get hurt. Yeah,
this is where I wonder, in all honesty, if in a full season, if this Indians team would do as well as they can hold up in this shortened season. I don't know. I don't know that they could.
Well, here's the thing though that I like that I've been hearing I've said, and I know you've said, and I'll say it, and you said it here a little bit ago. The mentality of this sport is bigger this year because of COVID-19. And I'm actually going to say this. Sandy Almar's taken too much shit from people. He's done a good job. And in a nice, weird way, they're raising their future manager, in my opinion. I think Sandy's actually being groomed. Look, folks, we got to just start talking about it. Not this year, but next year. You got to wonder how much more Francona is going to do this. Because he's going through some physical, forget the mental stuff, which is a lot. Physically, he's having some issues. You have to wonder past 2020 how much longer Tito's going to be around. Sandy has got some things to learn, of course. I got to be honest, though. I've been pretty impressed with Sandy. He's doing a good job. I don't get nervous around him. I actually think I think he's gotten way too much crap from social media.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm glad I haven't seen any of the social media crap. I'm glad that I haven't.
He's gotten a lot. He's gotten a lot.
Yeah, but from who? Are these from just random people?
Again, social media.
Yeah.
I mean, social media.
So, blah. No need for it. Sandy Alomar Jr., if Sandy had to take over for the rest of this season,
I'd be okay.
God forbid. But if he had to, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with Sandy running his team. Mm-hmm. Period. That's where I'll leave it. Because you can't tell me anything specifically. You can't pick him apart and tell. I mean, what are you going to tell me that he's done wrong?
I'm so with you. I've been surprised. Oh, we lost because of Sandy. Oh, stop it.
No,
players play.
No, he didn't.
He did the right. I have not seen him move outside of like, okay, maybe he kept in Savali in too long, but my gosh, I mean, that's whatever. Even that kind of stuff's water under the bridge. I know that. So it is what. And by the way, Savali got out of it when he was in the game, so I was wrong there too. So, anyways, I just want to bring that up. Plesac has been great. He looks focused. That was, I know he did something very wrong. I'm telling you, keeping him was the right thing. You got to give young kids a chance who make horrible mistakes. You got to give them a second chance. He's getting it. He's taking advantage of it. And that guy looks focused and pissed off. And he is talented. And and people don't want to maybe admit it because of what happened. Folks, in a normal year, he'd be the talk of this pitching staff. That's how well Plesac's playing. Just want to mention that. Now to Bieber. I mean, what stat would you like to go into? He joined Bob Feller on Sunday as the only Cleveland pitcher to strike out 8+ hitters in their first 9 starts. By the way, there's only a couple more guys in that cloud, which is Feller, Pedro Martinez in 99, who is unbelievable. And people forget, Pedro Martinez in 99 was unhittable. And Randy Johnson's the only guy. So those 3, that's it. He's in that kind of territory. He is, I'm telling you, he's unreal right now. Now, something I noticed that a gentleman in the Akron Beacon Journal noticed, Ryan Lewis. It's the coffee talking. Ryan Lewis in the Akron Beacon Journal noted too. He is having a hard time getting innings logged. He only went 5. He only went 6. He's not going 7 or 8. Now, I noticed the same thing, and it's just a little touch. Because, it's hard not to find anything wrong. And I'm not saying this is wrong. It's just a note. And his point is Bieber trying to focus on getting too many strikeouts? We just mentioned the strikeout records he's holding. Is that causing him, instead of getting outs? And he's having prolonged at-bats. The Royals, and then the other day, who did they play over the weekend? And my brain's farting out all of a sudden.
The Brewers?
The Brewers, and he had a hard time there too. I would not worry about it. It's just something to note. And I noticed it too. It's why I found the article fascinating times. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only guy. It's like, he's going 5, he's going 6. Hey, he's great in those 5 or 6, but you'd like to see him go a little deeper. You hope as this goes on, he'll start going a little deeper into games.
Well,
just a touch.
Yeah. And I think that minor adjustments will make that happen. Right? Mm-hmm. Minor adjustments.
Yeah, again.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't want to go too big into it. Bieber, quote, "While I'd like to get a lot deeper into ball games, I feel that might be certain teams' approaches trying to get my pitch count out, laying off pitches that are some good pitches that might do swings." He is, and Jared alluded to it, how I can get better and get deeper in the ball games next outing.
He'll be fine.
So I think he will be too. Just want to bring it up. Now, this is a heartbroken story because I love James Karinchak. He's not been so good lately. Might have been wrong, not him, a little bit. But I love him, and he's still very good. But he has struggled his last 3 starts. Quote, Carl Willis talking about our guy Karinchak. "This is something, even though his minor league career, it happens with most pitchers. There comes a point in time in the season that he gets a little out of whack of a better team, and it takes a bit of work to get him rightened. I know I speak of pressure a lot, and we do feel like it's pressure related." He also mentioned Karinchak just wants to turn on the light switch and get this thing fixed yesterday. Here's his quote. "Sometimes he's too hard a worker. He wants it fixed yesterday," end quote. Karinchak bleeds what we all bleed as fans. He wants to win. He doesn't like him stinking. I felt bad for him. You saw it. I saw it in his face Friday night. I felt bad for him. Because you could tell, he goes, "I just don't have it. I can't figure it out." I just want to give this, and I'll give you your take. I'm glad this is happening now, because this was going to happen at some point. Don't have it happen against the Yankees in a playoff start. Get through this, get through it now in the regular season, and get there. Because I think this always happens. I don't want to speak for Carl Willis, but I'm with Carl. Like, this always happens. Just get through it and work through it.
Andy, you and I talk offline all the time. You know, I've been in a funk for the past week or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be in that funk down the road.
No,
right.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So that's that mental. You deal with you put tools in your toolbox to become more resilient. And when you fall on your face, that makes you better.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, has the potential to make you better. Hopefully, you're surrounded by people that remind you of those things, which with Carl Willis sounds like that's what Karinchak's getting right now. Kid will be all right. I don't have any doubt in him. He's already shown his potential.
Yeah.
And when he shows his potential, then when you fall, he's going to be better than he was before. Hopefully.
Yes.
So he'll be back. I'm not sweating it.
I'm not either. It's just a note that
we
and
go
it's
through
a real
these things from time to time. That's just life, right?
And by the way,
we talk about this as being a game, and we know it's a game. But we're all still human at the end of the day. We all still got this big old mushy lob in the middle of our skulls that can get in the way of a lot of things. And that includes how you play on the field. And I think that he'll be all right. If that's all it is, he'll be all right.
Better to happen now. At some point, it's going to happen to all of that. Any of these young pitchers like this, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Better to happen now, Karinchak, because in the playoffs, you're going to be seeing a lot more than Plesac or by Savali or by McKenzie. So because they're starters and because of that, it always tends to happen more quickly to a bullpen guy. And again, Will said it all. I'm with you. Nothing more to say on that note. We talk about the runs per scoring. Again, I won't belabor that point. They're now 21-2 when scoring at least 3 runs after tonight's game. Here's the stats about the defense. They are 6th best defensive rating, 7.0 from Fangraphs as a team. They're the 7th most defensive runs saved with 11. The gloves for the Indians are very, very good. Hedges will help that too. I just want to make it a point. It doesn't get talked about enough. Just want to bring it up. To Monday's game, we'll get through the rest of the week. Plesac was great tonight. The Indians, again, typical bats, enough singles to get runs in.
Well, and we're talking about gloves. We cannot forget the fact that Plesac as a pitcher has one hell of a glove as well.
Nasty.
He was moving away from the ball after a pitch and somehow leapt back to his right and over his head and grabbed that hard ground ball up the middle that was over his head. It chopped up. And I didn't think he had a chance in hell of snagging that thing. Yeah, and that's not his first one. I mean, we watched him put his body on the line and dive and catch a foul ball too. So, Plesac, don't leave these pitchers out when it comes to those defensive plays too. They help their own cause.
there's 2.5. I'll say 2.5 guys that made me nervous. Domingo Santana, who's no longer in the team. He was. We won't relive it, but he's no longer in the team. Sandy Leone has had some issues with the glove. He's had now 3 catcher's interference this year. I know he's a good guy. I think it's time once Hedges and Pedro and Roberto Perez get into a bit of a groove. Sandy Leone, I would start to wind him down because the catcher's interference in a big spot cannot happen. It hasn't happened to him yet, but to have 3 catchers interference, only 19 games played. That's a lot. That's a lot. The other guy too, who makes me nervous, half is Luplow. Luplow makes me nervous. He will make a good play once in a while though to make up for it. But that's it. Everyone else's team, no problems.
Yeah.
None. And Carlos Santana is a great first base glove. He should win I know he made a bad play on Friday night. Santana, though, should win a Gold Glove. I really believe that. He has made plays this year that, Mike, that's a Gold Glove. So I think, I mean, there's others too, but a Gold Glove, especially for that guy. Okay, we went through tonight. One thing quickly about tonight. Now, it didn't cost him. Frankie Lindor, we love you. I do. One of my favorite Indians. Love the guy. That base running error, Jared, was bad. For people who didn't see it, got on first. Then Santana laced a double down the line. And I mean, Lindor didn't track the ball, didn't watch his third base coach, and then subsequently compounded this mistake by missing second base going to third. You hope it's just a one-time thing. I will take it in this note, Jared. Glad it's happening in games in the regular season that you're winning, because that's the kind of stuff that will help this team get better as the season goes along. I'll leave it there. I don't think it's going to happen again, but that was bad. Bad.
Yeah, I missed it. So I was setting up for the show. I'm glad I didn't see it.
No. Jared saw it on my face when I came on there. It was not good. But anyways, all that to be said, Plesac keeps dominating. Don't forget him. We lived the game yesterday. J-Ram had a great week. Had a great defensive play on yesterday's game. Santana, which he got another hit again tonight. Santana broke out with a big game on Sunday. Dominic Leone, I kind of teed up on it. Keep your eye on him. Sandy and Francona and Carl Willis keeps talking about Dominic Leone. I haven't seen it until this week. He had a very good this week, and he pitched in the 8th inning. So these aren't like starts like, he's in the 5th and he's closing out things. No, the 8th inning in a 4-1 game. That's good. That's something you want to see. 4-3, first walk-off win of the year. Mercado, we just teed it up. Great job to him. We teed everything up there. And again, Brad Hand, he had a Houdini act in the 9th inning, 1st and 3rd, and somehow got out of the inning with no run scored. I mean, just a Houdini act. You teed it up. I want to say Brad Hand has improved. He's not all the way back, Jared, but he is comfortably back, I'll call it. Comfortably back.
He's back well enough that you're not worried about Karinchak.
Comfortably back, exactly.
Right.
And again, you said it, and I echo it. In a normal year, Karinchak doing this would be a disaster. That's how good this bullpen is this year. Wickren's there. Dominic Leone came in. I mean, Dominic Leone, who would you think would be saying that? And Maton makes you nervous, but he gets out of jam, so I'll leave it there. Friday night was a complete disaster. Karinchak struggled. We talked about that. It was just one of those games. The Indians just didn't feel like they were ever in that game. Cookie battled through 6 innings, only giving up 1 run. He and Hedges are going to need to connect a little bit more if that's going to be the catcher connection there. The bigger story of that game is Delino DeShields, who is still out. He pulled out with a right shoulder contusion. Again, I think he's your starting center fielder, even with Mercado playing well, but he needs to, hopefully he's going to be okay. Yeah. I kind of go on your Tito note. If he needs rest, get him rest right now. Then they started the week in Kansas City. Reyes, my God. For people who didn't watch that, no, he had 8 straight hits and consecutive at-bats. I mean, that's how hot Reyes was. He's still playing well.
And that 9th almost possible. You were hoping it was going to drop. I think he slapped one the other way out the right field, and it was just a bummer. You were really hoping he was going to get that 9th hit, but didn't happen.
Naquin got another. Again, Naquin's been playing so well. He had another good hit tonight. He's doing so well in the game. And Naquin and Reyes, if they're raking and you're winning games, that's all you need to say. That goes. For all the bats being a bat short, that gives you a lot of hope on the other end. And McKenzie, I mean, God, a normal year, he'd be the big story. He looked great. 6 innings, looked really strong. Plesac, we just teed him up on Tuesday. He was wonderful. Tuesday was a sleep-in game. They blew out the Royals. Monday night was a complete shit show. Karinchak sadly got banged around. Beaver pitched great, but only won 6. But again, Karinchak was a real story there, giving up a 1-0 lead, and that was your week.
We're getting ready to wrap this one up, I think, Andy. Yeah?
Yeah, we're a minute. We are. So just to tee it up, and then Jared will do his famous spiel. We're going to start doing Mondays and Fridays now. Mondays and Fridays with the fall and the Browns season. So Monday to recap every Browns victory, then Friday to discuss every Browns victory going into Sunday. 16-0 is all we think about here. And then we'll talk about college football. Everybody get excited. I'm going to have a big Irish football preview. The ACC's on stage this week. So we got all sorts of ACC games. Clemson, Wake Forest. You'll have some opinions here. Doug Wicker will text in with all sorts of thoughts. Doug's probably giggling because we used to laugh about certain teams in the ACC. And hey, the ACC is going to have the whole stage to themselves. So they get a whole week to themselves. We'll get in the Irish, but obviously bigger points will be the Browns every week, and Browns-Ravens being the big point on Friday.
I'm going to leave some of the details out right now, but I'll give you some of the info. We are actually going to be rebranding this show a little bit. The name of the show is going to change to Cleveland and Beyond. And Andy and Jared, we're going to back end that. So you might have some issues. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but the show is going to be rebranded as just Cleveland and Beyond. And we're going to update the website, which is just about ready to go. And we'll have a few other announcements to go along with that because we've got a new partner with us as well in helping to launch all of this. So stay tuned for that stuff. Should happen right there before the Browns start their season. And don't forget, we are still and we'll continue to help out and advertise for Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, Original Cleveland Sports Reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Follow us on Twitter at CLE and Beyond, at CLE and Beyond. And also, send us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com, andyandjared@gmail.com. We might change that to Gmail too. It might be Cleveland and Beyond. I'll let you know whenever that happens. But we haven't done it yet. And I think that's about it for what I wanted to mention. Andy, anything else you want to add?
I'm excited about Notre Dame football. I'm more excited about Browns. This podcast actually helped in a weird way, not to pump up our own podcast, but once you start talking about the rosters, you're seeing depth charts. It's great to see. It'll be good. The Indians, I get more excited about the Indians day by day, so that's all good stuff. Quickly on the NBA, for people who haven't watch the Rockets-Lakers series. That, I think, is going 6 or 7. Watch it. Those two teams are dead even. For people who haven't, I've now made an appointment TV. I'm watching every game. Watch Rockets, Lakers. It's great. It's 3-point shooting analytics versus a duo of LeBron and Davis. And it's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch as a sports fan.
He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. Browns are going 12-4.
I am rooting I'm rooting for LeBron, not the Lakers. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm rooting for
the
LeBron.
Browns are going 12-4. Did you think I said LeBron?
No. I'm saying I've changed.
Oh, you're talking about another thing.
Yeah. I'm looking at my predictions. Oh, we'll make bad gambling. I'll make bad gambling bets again. It's gonna be so much fun this year. But I am so excited. Okay, real quickly, then we'll get off.
Oh, fake ending.
Ready?
Ending. All right, go ahead.
Ready?
Thing.
Who are you more excited about in years to come? McKenzie, Plesac, or Bieber?
Oh boy.
Oh, isn't that tough?
Oh boy. You know what? My gut is telling me Mackenzie.
I agree.
Which is crazy.
This Plesac's pitching out of his mind, and Bieber's it might be the AL MVP. I'm telling you, 2021 and beyond, if this works the way it should, forget Cleveland and beyond, the Indians and beyond.
Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. We're taking. That's it. That's our last comment. We're done. We're out of here. We're gone.
Why have so many more thoughts?
No, we're done. The show's over. We're done. Talk to you later.
I'll post a vlog.
A vlog. Yeah, we'll do a vlog. Talk later.
Love vlog.
All right, a vlog. Bye.